Oh my God, what time is it? It's time for Brethren Around, episode number 56. I am your host, Mr. Wes Gardner, and joining me is a very special guest. Crocodile Dundee has made his way into the into the fold. How are you today, sir?
Oh.
So if you guys are not watching the YouTube archive, which you should be, you
YouTube archive, Twitch archive, whatever.
Yeah, either way, Twitch, go watch it. World premieres live.
Felt like Jim Ross there for a second, where it's just
well, by God,
sitting there with the fucking hat on.
The stakes have never been higher. But I'm your host, Mr. Wes Gardner. Welcome to episode number 56 of Brothering Around, and joining me, the two gentlemen. We all three make the Three Musketeers. We got Mr. Marco Flores, Nerd in the Bay himself. How are you, sir?
It's still bright out.
Dude, it is. What is happening? We are recording like 2 hours early.
Right, yeah. It's really bright. I'm not used to natural lighting right now.
That's good, man. And like you can't tell because mine looks like a really dank hookah bar or something in the background, like like really dark and
like big beige store right now.
That's right. Yeah, come on in, man. I'll sell you all of the bad Radio Shack shit you could possibly want. Just come on in. Come on to Buddha Bar.
I've been to vape shops with that lighting. So I mean,
yeah, you come in and say, "Hey, bro, we got the new." I don't know any like actual vape lingo.
Yeah,
like, we got the chargers that.
What kind of tank you using?
You got the NOS tank with. I'll just say car lingo.
Bro, you need yourself a Baby Beast tank.
Get yourself the ice pack. It makes twice as much noise. Get you a lift kit on your vape, man.
What? That doesn't make any sense. Listen, bro, kit. I work in the shop.
Bro, the lift kit gets you maximum smokage.
If you want your passenger seat to lift up and push out.
Right. You hit the button on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been I've dealt with people that worked in shops and didn't know what the hell they were talking about, and they would just come up with stuff. I'm like, bro, the adults are talking now.
Right. They try to be like the salesman. See, Sam, this one has exactly what you need.
And then I shake my head and I'm like, you don't know what I need, sir. Amateurs.
And we got Todd EVF.
What's going on?
Yo, so we gotta go into like dank. Like, what's your craziest shop story for like walking into a shop and having like someone talking mad shit about whatever?
I would go into shops and I would the shop I used to go to all the time before they moved and kind of sort of changed owners. They basically had almost like a bar set up, so you could just hang out there.
Oh, okay.
So the thing, like, they didn't serve alcohol. Like the new shop, the new owner at the new shop is like, he has got the liquor license, so he could sell beer out of there and stuff. And I'm it's not the kind of place I want to go to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I would just sit there like almost all day on a day off and listen to people go, dude, these coils are fantastic. And I'm like, let me see those. And I'm like, what gauge wire are you using? Bro, I don't even know. And I'm like, those are 26 gauge, regular Canthal with a 6 wrap. They're fantastic. Try this. And then I would hand them mine. And they're like, oh, what was that? And I'm like, those are hand-built twisted 24s. Three strands of the 24 gauge Canthal. And, basically just little things like that. Like for me, I don't buy coils, I build them. So it's one of those things I do. So I got to know like Ohm's law and all the other stuff. So I make sure things are safe.
Yeah.
And I would have somebody going, dude, you got to vape a 0.04. And I'm like, are you fucking crazy?
I just like that you're like the artisanal, like craftsman of the group,
Yeah.
where it's more of like, hey man, I got this really cool thing, and you're like, no.
Listen, sir, we'll get to that.
Yeah, it's like you put that away. Let's talk about the real McCoy.
I mean, I got a few different setups, one of which I just dropped. But I mean, I got like this one here. This is a little 2-battery job.
That looks like a gun magazine. Like it genuinely looks like.
And then I got this. This is the one I'm currently using. I'm really liking this one. But got a drip atomizer on there. It's got a large reservoir. But you can kind of see hand-built coils, that kind of shit. I mean,
holy shit.
This is extra value,
right?
For those that are watching the archive.
Yeah, a little bit extra for her pleasure action.
But I mean, it's just like the little vape stuff. Like you get people talking the shit all the time. Like, oh, I know what I'm talking about, motherfucker. You don't.
Yeah.
I've been vaping for several years. I've been building my own coils for about that long as well. Because you start with a standard kit and you're like, this isn't doing it for me. Like when I went to the shop the first time, the guy working there, who was actually my roommate, said to me, so what are you looking to do? And I'm like, I'm just looking for a basic starter. And he goes, you'll be back in a week.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, why is that? And he goes, because I know you. And I know you like to fuck with things. And I know you'll be unhappy. And it's not even you'll break it. It's just that it won't perform the way you want it to. And you'll want something that does.
Yeah.
And then from there, 1 week later, I'm back there in the shop going, all right, I need something else.
Get rid of this Fisher Price shit. Give me the real thing.
Yeah. I almost exactly like that. But it was just one of those situations. I moved to like I was still using the standard like bullshit tanks, but I moved to my first mod, which actually looked like a pipe. And you would hold it like that and had the button right on the top of the thing.
Oh, nice.
So, yes,
indeed. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then I burnt that fucker out.
Nice.
I built coils for my first setup, and it got so hot that the wire from the button to where the atomizer hooked up desoldered.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh my God, that sounds like my freaking my AV to HDMI thing.
You see this high-powered action. This shouldn't be doing that. I'm like, and then from there, I've only had like a handful of equipment.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people that's just like, oh, the new thing? I need the new thing. I'm just like, I ran mechanical mods, which is basically a tube, a button, and a contact. That's it. Nothing else. So there's no regulation, no circuit boards, none of that other shit. I ran those for years. And then just within the last year, I moved into, well, maybe I want to be able to vary my wattage and my temperature control and do all this other stuff. It opened up a whole new world.
Right.
Whole new world. Wow. But yeah, it's just the vape game is weird.
It sounds like it's deep dish. Like
it's some dank ass shit.
Dank. Yeah. True dankness. That kind of reminds me, like, Marco, have you ever run into, whenever you were martial arts class and stuff like that, like you get these people from out of town that come in and they're like, no, see, you got to do your spin kick like this, and then they'll do some like weird hip movement, and you're like, what the fuck is going on here? Like that's what I imagine. Yeah. You're like,
did you just have a stroke?
Yeah, it's like you're gonna break your own leg doing that shit.
Why are you locking your knees?
Right. I like to punch like this. Ooh. And you're like, well, you're gonna die. You're just whatever fight happens, you're gonna die. That's fine.
Yeah. Right.
So what happens when somebody comes at you with a knife? I'm gonna punch like this. No, you should run.
Yeah, you scream and then you run.
Yeah.
Here's a whistle for you, so you can use that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Oh man. So there's only one main thing, and it's kind of an old man topic, or it can easily divulge into an old man topic. But
those three, yes.
Back in my day,
barefoot uphill.
It's kind of there's this weird balance now with, you know, every single month, and this is cheap shilling at its finest, but every single month on West Unboxes I get a video games monthly box, and they send like retro games, like physical retro games, to your door. It's really cool. Go check it out. And there was this a few of the other YouTube creators that I like to watch quite a bit. One of the guys, name's Reggie, Radical Reggie. He put up a video where he says, like, this is why I don't buy new games, like games as they come out. And, you know, he's a big fighting game fan. And he was talking about he waits to get the complete edition of games, because by that time, all of the DLC is usually put on a disc. Right. So you get the whole complete game. You don't have the game. And the example he brought up is Street Fighter V. He also brought up like Resident Evil 7, but he went into detail about Resident Evil 7, which was some bullshit. And this is why I kind of wanted to introduce this topic to you guys to see what you guys think about it. So apparently the Resident Evil 7 Gold Edition comes with everything. However, all it is the same vanilla disc, like the same game that you would have got at launch, and then download codes for the rest of the DLC. Like, to where it's not put on the disc. It's because what I like to think of is, you know, that Xbox 360, the Xbox Live arcade game, Scott Pilgrim?
Yes.
Try to go find that anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
It's gone forever. It's gone forever. It is not online. It's not backwards compatible. No server has it up. That game is gone. That is a video game that was very good that you cannot get. There is no way to legally obtain that.
I mean, Castle of Illusion's like that too, the remake. I mean, if you already own it, you can re-download it, but that's it. I mean, you can't do anything else.
PT is another one. That Silent Hills.
Oh, PT was even worse though. Like you downloaded once you deleted it, and it was off their servers.
Gone.
You're gone. Yeah.
That is a game that literally will never exist again unless someone does a deep dive like 10 years from now and whatever.
Yeah.
But as far as like archival purposes, it's gone. There's a Wikipedia entry about it. That's it. There's no museum that's going to have this thing. Like, as far as we know, as of today's date, there is no way to get that, period. And then, you know, you talk about the dreaded idea of like, okay, I love Steam. I have over 1,200 games on Steam. I have like 500 games on Godel Games, a bunch of just random downloadable things everywhere. And like, you know, Marco, you know, you got some PSN games. I got some PSN games. What happens when those servers fully go down? What happens? You know,
you can't play the online portion of it if there is, or that game is totally unplayable if it's online only.
Yeah, or if it has to check, like if it has to check that you're online, if they don't patch that out, because like shit, man, I tried to play Street Fighter Cross Tekken because I got it in that Humble Bundle, the fighting game one, and I was like, oh yeah, it's like the $5 tier. Of course, I've always wanted to play this. I cannot play it. Can't play it. It has games for Windows Live. So what happens is you turn the game on and it loads to try to log you into games for Windows Live, which doesn't exist anymore. There's no server for GFW. So games for Windows Live crashes out, and then it crashes the game back to desktop because it couldn't authenticate the server, even though there is no server. It doesn't exist anymore. So, like, here's a game I kind of want to try because I remember when the game came out, and Marco and I would chat about it a lot, and I was like, dude, I love Street Fighter, I love Tekken. This sounds awesome. It didn't do as well as everyone hoped, and they did some weird gym stuff, and it was kind of, you know, the game wasn't quite what everyone wanted, but it's almost besides the point because now I can't even try. Like, I could go buy a PS3 copy of it.
Yeah, you would have to look for a PS3 or Xbox copy.
Which might be a better way anyway, because it's physical, you know.
Well, and I'm looking at it right now, and I just shared a link with you.
Yeah.
And there's actually a community mod to actually patch out games for Windows Live.
Awesome. So thank God for the community, because without that, if they just pull the plug on a thing, I think like Fallout 3 is the same way, right? Mm-hmm. Fallout 3 on computer requires games for Windows Live. Janky. Just like, it's weird. So, I'm kind of happy now. You can't really see it because it's so dark back there, but like all the classic games and retro games and stuff, I like the fact of getting a physical collection again, because who cares if they pull a server on the virtual console and I can't download fucking Ogre Battle for the Super Nintendo. I have it. Like, I have that shit. I'll put it in the Retron. Like, I'll just play that shit.
Yeah.
What are your guys' thoughts on because I think all of us really toe that line pretty well, that we have a lot of digital only games, or like we got them on sale on PSN or Steam or whatever. But then we also have some physical games that we also have. I mean, what's kind of your preferred way of doing business?
I mean, I guess I have some digital, but I'm strictly physical. Because at least a lot of the games that I do have are more of the niche kind, like the Yakuza, the Suikodens, and all that stuff. So I know, and they're not popular at this point, at least with Yakuza being more popular like the recent years.
Gotcha.
I know that they're not like general widespread. So I'm going to grab those copies rather than buying a digital. I mean, the only digital one I have is Yakuza 5, because they didn't come out with a disc.
That's right.
So I'm mainly a physical copy person.
Do you think, like, in the future with the next systems you get, you're going to kind of be the same way? Like, you're going to probably stick to it, or?
If I'm still sticking to the trend of like more niche type games and not general, like most popular games, I'm most likely going to keep doing that. But other than that, like, it's not hard to find Yakuza games now, because everybody's like learning about Yakuza, and then Street Fighter is still going to be out there. Yeah. Being an ongoing game. That's not that many games out there right now that I'm playing that are other than Yakuza, and like if ever a Suikoden ever comes back, I'm more of the niche type. But
gotcha.
Yeah.
So kind of physical.
I'll look for the niche games first, and then keep an eye on them. Like, okay, should I get it? Okay, I should get the physical copy, and then
right. That's a good way to do it. Yeah, because that way you build your library. But now I'm seeing that, like, all the niche titles, like, oh my God, go on eBay and try to find a Working Designs game from like the PS. Oh my God. Good luck. But yeah, like Suikoden. Yeah, go look at those prices. For Suikoden 1's not as bad, but look at Suikoden 2. Let's just look at that $250 price tag for a complete inbox.
Yeah. In my case, I was very much a physical collector. I'll still occasionally get the physical version, but I've pretty much limited it to like more of like the collector's editions.
Gotcha. Right.
So like Fallout 4, I got the PC collector's edition with the fucking Pip-Boy because I wanted the Pip-Boy. That's the only reason why I got it.
Hey, fair play, right?
Yeah. But most of the times lately, like if I look at this current gaming console generation, I have an Xbox One. I own physically 3 games.
Yeah.
Everything else is digital. Dead Rising 3, I think Titanfall, and there's one other game, Forza 5. Those are the only 3 fucking games I actually physically own. Everything else, though, has all been digital. I've been moving more into that direction. But if there is something that I am passionate about, I'll go out of my way and I'll buy the physical version.
Gotcha.
Much like Marco said, as a backup, Yeah. Like last night we were kind of talking about this in a chat about like, people buying multiple copies of a game. And I said, it's not like I've bought like 20 plus copies of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines.
Right.
4 of those are physical copies. Yeah. One of them was at launch and that one got lost. Then I bought another one, which was still like a $40, $50 game at the time. Then I bought another one and it was like on discount for like $20. I'm like, fuck yeah. Then I saw a copy at like a Walmart in clearance for like $5. And I'm like, yep. Fallout awesome. 1, 2, and Tactics. I have physical copies of that. I mean, those are other games that I own on both GOG and Steam. Mm-hmm. Like I have it on both platforms.
Yeah.
So, and I'm finding I'm doing that a bit more, where it's like if I really enjoy a game and I have it on Steam, I have no problem rebuying it on GOG.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I mean, typically your GOG games are DRM free. So you don't really have to deal with the bullshit of, well, the servers went down.
Yeah, exactly.
Stuff like that.
So you can put it on a thumb drive if you want it, or upload it to your Dropbox or Google Drive or whatever. Like, toss it to be archived forever, and that way it's always yours in your possession.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is now GOG's on the money, because now I think once or twice a month you can add Steam games.
Yeah, they give you a list and they're like, hey, we noticed you have some Steam games that are now available as part of GOG Connect. You want to add them to your collection? I'm like, yes.
Yeah, so smart. I probably have 40 or 50 games for free just because I already bought them on Steam and now they imported over to GOG.
All the Saints Row games I have on GOG because of that. I mean,
so cool.
And that's another series I've bought multiple copies of the game. Of course, they've all been, except for Saints Row 3, they've all been digital. So, but I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, as you said, it's a very old man thing where you're like, I want the physical copy.
Yeah.
I also don't like dealing with the people I have to buy physical copies from.
Bingo. So that brings it into the other deal is like, okay, so like Marco, you're in California. You essentially get to play a game 5 hours before it comes out. Because usually the way it works, if I remember this right, on the East Coast, whenever they have their early releases for a midnight launch of a game, it comes out at 11.
Yep.
Right.
But it's a worldwide launch set to the East Coast time, meaning that like whenever they get to play it by midnight, it actually unlocks for California at like 8 or 9 the day before launch. So it's like supposed to come out August 9th. Well, it actually unlocks because it's over like across the, you know what I mean? Like, so
and then Australia gets it a day late.
And then they get it a day after and they have to pay triple in tax. That's basically what they have to do.
Haven't they suffered enough with all the horrible creatures that'll kill everything?
Yeah, with their 80-foot tall spiders and just crazy.
Climb out of your air conditioning car.
Oh God, yeah, and it's just like it's a snake with feet, and you're like, I don't know what the fuck that is.
Ladies arguing with you, like, what are you doing back here? Like, that's a fucking big ass face hugger right there.
Right. Well, they do have terror. It's like the ocean, but they're on land. And you're like, they just discover new things.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's another thing that'll kill you. It's like, what?
That's a cat with a lobster tail. Look at that one. Like,
and you're just saying this all nonchalantly. Yeah, no problem, mate.
No, don't. He'll hiss at you. He'll scream, and they scream like goats. So like, like whatever the thing is, it doesn't matter. It's like a bird that howls, and you're like, but.
Oh, that koala looks so adorable. Don't get near that thing. Why? What's wrong with it? It'll give you chlamydia.
Yeah, what? That's not a real koala, by the way. That's actually a that's a donkey. And you're like,
what is it? The koalas actually will spread chlamydia through like their bites and shit. Like it is weird as shit. Like who the fuck? They are like they sleep like 18 hours a day, and those other hours they are violent little fuckers.
I was about to say they have all that chlamydia ward took it out of them.
Yeah. It's all those leaves, man. All those leaves.
But like there are huge incentives for digital.
Yeah.
One of the main ones. My PS3 cannot read discs anymore. The laser went out on it, and to replace the laser for the big bulky size PS3 will cost more than buying another PS3 on Craigslist.
Mm-hmm.
Any of those systems that have discs, any of them, that have the moving parts, the motors, all that stuff, over a long enough timeline, they will fail. They just will.
And let's not just limit it to disc-based systems either. what's the market like on refurbishing and redoing classic systems? Your NESs, your Mega Drives, hell, your fucking Ataris and ColecoVisions. There's a big market for that amongst people of our generation who are like, we need to experience the past. We don't care that it doesn't look like a AAA title now.
Yeah,
these are games I remember.
Yes,
that I want to relive.
And we don't want to forget them. And there is a sense as you get older, and you'll notice it more. Like, so all you kids listen up. As you get older, you start having not necessarily nostalgia for the thing that you grew up with, but more so of an overall empathetic view of whatever hobby you're in. So, like, you don't necessarily want to play Mickey Mouse-capades like I do, because, I used to play Mickey Mouse-capades and isn't this cool? You want to be able to make sure that it's able to be played. That way, the next generation that has no context of what Mickey Mouse-capades is will be able to see it and see how far we've come as it's more of like, now you're becoming a historian versus, I'm just a guy that likes to play games. And I've noticed that's a trend kind of on YouTube is, like, all three of us are getting quite a bit more traffic lately on our respective platforms from people that are going to look at us in our generation, early mid-30s, as they're the experts. They were actually alive and grew up during the Super Nintendo versus Sega Genesis. So I wonder what their opinion is on the SNES Classic. Because your viewers are like 12.
Which is fucking scary.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's that opens up that whole thing about the PewDiePie shit and, like, what are these kids watching? But, like, knowing that you are now kind of the authority, like, people are looking at you as the way of, wow, what games should we play, old man? I'm interested in the old stuff that you guys
What kind of stuff do you like?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to give you a whole list of things you don't.
Yeah.
You will appreciate them and you will enjoy them because we didn't have much choice back in my day.
Yeah. Go play the original Ninja Turtles game on regular Nintendo and then you'll really
Here's
appreciate
Ghouls
it.
and Ghosts. Enjoy. Tell me when you beat it and get the true ending.
Yeah.
4 years later, I've given up on this, sir. Is there even a true ending? Did you get the shield? There's a shield? Yes, it spawns on your second playthrough. You need to carry it with you until the end. And then, only then do you get the true ending. And they just kind of flip a table and walk the fuck out. Like everybody who's ever played Ghouls and Ghosts.
Yeah. And it's so bizarre to be in that kind of area now to where, whenever we're doing whenever I'm doing my unboxing, I'm like, oh, look, Chrono Cross. I'm like, Chrono Cross was a great game. PS1 RPG. Like, we all know it. Like, we played the shit out of Chrono Cross. And then people in the comments were like, I've never heard of Chrono Cross. What? Like, you never heard of Chrono Cross? Get out of here. And, like, I think they're kidding. But now I'm learning that they're not kidding. Like, these people don't know. They're too young, or they just got into the hobby, or like the hobby's way bigger than it's ever been before, but it still goes to show how niche that hobby was for the past 30 years. That like, kind of like how we discussed with comics. Like, I'm just now really getting into comics. And people are like, oh no, you read Civil War, right? And I'm like,
no.
And then they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? You haven't read Civil War? Like, it's one of, like, people just can't fathom.
I get that sometimes with wrestling, where, because I go through phases where I'll go and I'll be like super heavy into it. And then I'll be like, fuck this. And I'll take like anywhere between 5 and 7 years off.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'll come back and there's all new faces and I'm just like, who the fuck's this asshole? And somebody's like, he's the best one out. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, and they're just like, you don't know who, like, for example, like I'm familiar with Daniel Bryan's work, Bryan Danielson's work and all the stuff. So I'm going to use him as an example. I'm like, who the fuck's this Daniel Bryan guy? And they're like, you've never heard of Daniel Bryan? And
Right.
I'm like, no. Like, and as I said, I'm just using that as an example because he's kind of one of those people that somebody who stopped watching, who's now getting into the product, is just like, well, what's the big fucking deal with this guy? And they're just like, and then they explain the story, and you're just like,
wait, what?
How long was he wrestling for? Like,
yeah, it's like this young guy. Like that exact situation happened with me and CM Punk.
Yeah,
that exact thing happened because I was out of the game. Like I stopped watching in like 2002, and then I came back at the Pipe Bomb, which is 2010, 2011 ish, right? So yeah, that was almost a decade. And then my friend was like, "Oh shit, dude, do you watch wrestling?" And I was like, "Nah, I haven't watched it in a long time, but like I like it. I like the old stuff." And he was like, "Do you know who CM Punk is?" And I was like, "I don't know what you just said to me. Like I don't know what that
Are
means."
You offending me, sir?
He's like, "How could you?" But then he was like, "No, you got to watch this." And then he showed me the raw replay on YouTube or whatever of the Pipe Bomb, and I was like, "Who is that guy?" I was like, what the fuck? Because I knew what he was saying was true, and the fact that he was dropping like New Japan Pro Wrestling and Ring of Honor and saying those words on WWE TV, and like fourth wall shit, and I was like, you're not supposed to do that. Like I knew even from back in the day, like Attitude Era, you weren't supposed to do that. Like you weren't supposed to call out Vince. You weren't supposed to. And I was like,
motherfucker, you're breaking kayfabe. What are you doing?
I was like, you are doing something. Like I lost my mind. I was like, give me more on this guy. And that's whenever he was like, "Oh, if you like CM Punk, you'll really like Daniel Bryan."
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then that whole thing, that's what started all of it. And then from there, I was like, oh, the Go to Sleep, what is this? And which introduced me to Kenta. And then it was like, then the whole fucking thing unraveled. And now I'm like, it's that meme where you see the brains at the different the different levels.
And it's
like, what's the CM Punk guy? And then at the end it says Kenta, and I'm like, blah, like the rays of light are shooting out of my brain.
See, with CM Punk, I was familiar with his work prior because he worked in TNA, and people don't like to talk about that.
Oh, interesting.
He worked in TNA as well as Ring of Honor around the same time because they had that deal where like, oh, you could work for them and work for us and no big deal.
Right. Yeah.
It was funny because he was part of Raven's group in TNA, but he was feuding with Raven in Ring of Honor.
Right.
Which was a very interesting thing. But I mean, we also had part of the TNA group. You had him. You had Mickey James was part of that group too. Like this is before she even came in as the crazy Trish stalker thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, like with Maury and like when me and her watch wrestling, I've watched so much stuff that like I'll mention something and she go, and it's that situation of like, what's this? Like, and I'm like, oh, you got to do.
Yeah,
I know we're doing tonight. You know, it's like
deep dive.
Yeah, I mean, they just added Heat, the first year of Heat to the network. They got, I think, the first year and a half of Thunder.
S.A. Rios.
On the network. So I mean, it's just like, oh, I can't wait for some of this stuff to come. And apparently now they're promoting the Global Force Wrestling Network.
Oh boy, what a treat!
They did. So they did a dinner for three, and they talked about it was Shane, Angle, and AJ, and they were talking about the matches you and AJ had, Kurt, were really good, and they showed clips from TNA, and I was like, what the fuck? And then they kept on going back to it, like they were talking about like Kurt versus Shane, and you see the King of the Ring stuff, and it's just like, and then Kurt versus AJ, and it would go to the TNA stuff, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? End of the episode, it goes, if you'd like to see more, if you would like to see all the matches between Kurt Angle and AJ Styles, download the Global Force Wrestling app
network.
And I was just like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
What? That's part of that Jeff Jarrett Hall of Fame deal right there.
Yeah.
He was like, I'll join the Hall of Fame if you fucking give my thing.
But he has nothing to do with the Global Wrestling Network anymore. Because Anthem got rid of him because of his escapades in fucking Mexico.
Debauchery.
Literal debauchery.
Let me throw tortillas and pour beer on people.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, it's. I would not be surprised if I know we're going to see more TNA stuff on the network, but I wonder if there's going to be a time where select TNA material gets put permanently on the network.
I mean, yeah, and plus, if Kurt Angle name dropped TNA, 4 weeks ago,
Yeah.
like saying,
they
drop
it on network stuff.
Oh yeah, apparently it's no longer one of those forbidden words they can use.
So that right there is, yeah.
But I mean, you don't have to put everything on the network.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
You got Bobby Roode, you got Samoa Joe, you got AJ Styles. I mean, those are 3 big fucking names that came out of TNA.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get some of their choice matches.
Shit, even get the Mick Foley stuff that he did there. I mean,
Him against Abyss in that Monsters Ball match.
Yeah. Him versus Sting in the fucking cage match that I have on DVD somewhere.
Yeah.
That match actually was not too bad.
No, it wasn't a bad one. It really wasn't.
They both came to play that day, so that was good.
Sting and Hogan, where he's doing the crazy Joker face paint thing.
With the bird.
Like, it just little things like that. I would like to see that come. But I know a lot of people didn't watch TNA, and I did.
Yeah.
So if they were to bring that, it'd be a lot of those situations of, oh yeah, we're like when me and Maury did some of our special episodes, like we did the Jolly Saint Mick Christmas special.
Yes, yeah.
We pulled TNA clips and we watched that, and it was the first time she had really watched TNA.
Interesting.
And it was just like, I mentioned it, like we did TNAngsgiving, which was great. Because I'd been talking about TNA for a while, and I'm like, we're doing this.
Yeah.
And I didn't choose, like, I threw in a King of the Mountain match, which is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
I threw like some of their worst matches that they did. I did a Feast or Fired and all the other stuff. But it was this whole situation of like, what am I watching? Like, this isn't horrible. Like,
right, yeah, because you have from the outsider looking in, like you have kind of it's like whenever the feeling you get when you see an OK CZW match. You know what I mean? Like, because you're like, well, I thought this was bullshit. Like, I thought this was just all a farce.
Yeah.
Or like you see a good like Juggalo wrestling match or whatever. Like whenever because they get some great names, and then you see it and you're like, wait, so the Juggalo wrestling thing's actually okay? Like, you have that perception of like,
yeah, you get one good match, and then you're like, wow, that actually wasn't bad. I'll go and watch your next show, and you're like, what is this shit?
And you're like, never again. You take a bath immediately afterwards.
I mean, you're sticky with Fago anyway, so you need to.
Yeah, exactly.
They baptized you.
That in Fago, that and oh god, I'm trying to think of the whole like. God, I grew up in a small town, and like 3 of the people were Juggalos, and it blew my mind. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" But then they weren't just specifically Juggalos; like they didn't just all listen to Insane Clown Posse and just that, but they would also listen to like Cottonmouth Kings.
Oh yeah,
and there's like this whole like there's a radius of like there's a hole in the middle, and then it.
Yeah, you had ICP, you had Twisted, you had this group, then you had Cottonmouth Kings, and then
the fucking clown with the axe logo or whatever that is.
Yeah, that was a record label, Psychopathic. Yeah. So it was just like you had like the main circle was like all the Psychopathic Records people, which the Juggalos would listen to, but then there were groups that were associated with them, but they weren't part of the label. It's like Cottonmouth Kings, and they're like, oh, they talk about getting high all the time. This is terrific. This is what I need
wonderful.
To listen to. Then you wake up, you're wearing face paint, and you're like, what the fuck happened last night? Did I get robbed?
It's like, what happened? Yeah.
It's permanent.
It's just like, oh god, I have Jinko jeans sewed to my body. I don't know. Oh, it's the Hot Topic jeans.
Is this a Dean Malenko shirt?
Right, and it's the pants that come automatically with a chain wallet. Like they just come. You buy it with a chain wallet, and not only that, but they have hooks that hook on to like they're like strips of other denim that like they clip onto other parts of the pants.
Like suspenders almost, but they're not.
But not. They're like Tetsuya Nomura fucking pants, like just belts everywhere. Like you have
Hardy Boys pants.
It is the Hardy Boys pants. Holy shit! Hardy Boys is like a hot topic has come to life.
Yeah.
That's
but
so the real question: when you buy your ICP albums, do you do it physically or digitally?
Neither.
Because for the historical value,
the answer is neither.
I buy it to fucking burn it.
No, you don't buy it. That's a thing. You get a friend to burn you a copy.
Yeah.
Because I mean, a lot of that's what happens with them too. Like, at least the people I knew were pretty broke, so we always had like somebody would buy the new album and then they'd run off like 4 copies of it,
charge you,
and they're like,
$5.
"Here you go. Here's the new album."
Yeah.
It's like,
Yep.
Oh man, it reminds me there was a guy on our block that would make like floppy disk copies.
Mm-hmm.
But that way, that's how you could like go to the library and like rent Apple II game or whatever, or like something for the Commodore, and then like you could have him rip a copy, and each disc was like $3, so way cheaper than buying it. But like it was the type of you imagine it in your mind's eye now, and you're like, it's a wonder we were not murdered, like going into this guy's house, because there was nothing in this guy's house. Like I'm convinced now that this guy was like a drifter, and he all he did was like set up, he probably had 8 houses that he set up shop in, that way the cops could never track him to one, right? And who knew what other shit he was doing, but he had a thing that could make copies of floppy disks. I don't know why, he just did. And I was like, great, awesome, really cool games.
oh man.
See, that's what these kids nowadays are missing. You don't understand the fun of having the danger of walking into some fucking stranger's house, getting rips of fucking floppy disks. That's what I'm saying.
Or walking into a Chinese restaurant in the hood where there's a guy sitting in the corner going, "What movie are you looking for?"
Yeah. Or in the same Chinese restaurant on the other corner, there's a guy and he's sitting like this, and then you could see some seats behind him and people are talking. But if you approach that side of the restaurant, he's like,
"Yup,
no, you're not walking over here right now. Yeah, like, no, you'll come back later. We'll like get your fucking fortune cookie. Here you go.
Yeah.
No, you're sitting over there, and like you're like, okay, great, thank you, sir, for not murdering me in a Chinese restaurant, because they just had a bucket, they could just clean up after themselves, like whatever, like they had to do, and then they just. The world's different now. The world's way different.
Yeah. It's too safe.
Yeah. There's no danger anymore. Which is
kids have it too easy.
Which is a blatant fucking lie, but
kids have it too easy. You can just go onto your internets and find what you're looking for.
There's just a dark web where everything is. You don't have to work for it.
Back then, we need to do all this other shit to have an opportunity to talk to somebody who might be able to help us out.
Yeah, the guy who might understand what a ColecoVision was.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just... Fuck. I feel old now. Shit.
Yeah, but like, to think about, because we came up before the internet. Mm-hmm. There was no internet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was still like DARPANet back before we fucking knew about the AOL discs and all the shit we joke about. Yeah. Like,
still all those tubes.
That's right. It was all tubes, and Al Gore just invented it, and it was all, it was all great. And you had to get a massive compact Presario computer to run it on. Either that or a gateway that came with a big cow box. You guys don't even know about the fucking cow boxes anymore. Like
some net zero discs, and you have to run the banner.
Funny enough about the cow box thing. Last year, I replaced my mouse pad, which I had originally gotten from my gateway computer.
Yeah.
So it was the cow mouse pad.
Oh, that's sick. I bet you could find awesome ones on eBay.
Probably. Depends on how many stains you want on it, because you always set your coffee on there.
Oh, of course. Yeah. See, I have this really like really dank. I'll even show you guys what it is right now. It's going to show up backwards on the camera for whatever reason. Skype just likes to like make the cameras reverse for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Dude, this is an old ass mouse pad. I got it as a manager of a GameStop. And it's an Age of Conan. Fucking look at that shit, dude. Look at that dank just
what that is terrific.
Like they were like, hey kids, here's your scantily clad Age of Conan thing, and I was like, yeah, I need a mouse pad. Why not?
You should have played that game. It's gonna blow up.
Yeah. Oh, it's the hottest thing if you get the pre-order incentives.
Yeah.
Just get the kids to pre-order it, and we're gonna send you a bucket, and the bucket's gonna have an art book in it. But when I say art book, it's a 4-page note card that I folded. And like those fucking things were always dreadful. I have like 4 or 5 actually awesome pre-order bonuses that they would send store managers and stuff. Like there's one, it's a lithogram of, it was Mortal Kombat Armageddon. Ooh. So that's like PS2 regular Xbox era, I think. Mm-hmm. Signed by Ed Boon. And it's like, it's an actual lithograph, like comes in a frame type thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the good ones that I kept. The one that I wish I still had. So if we want to talk about, like, Marco, earlier you were talking about, like, deep niche game, like, very deep dives. There was a game called Steambot Chronicles on PS1? PS2.
Yeah, I think so. Steambot?
Steambot Chronicles, one of those things. Yeah. So in Japan, it was called Bumpy Trot, which is hilarious. So Bumpy Trot, they sent a pre-order bonus for that game. It was a harmonica. It was like a little keychain harmonica for Bumpy Trot. And I was like, this is funny. And I had it for the longest time, and I can't remember what happened to it. Now that fucking harmonica is going for like $85.
Wow, okay.
I'm like, what? So all of these weird pre-order bonuses, like, get yourself a pre-order bonus. Like, go into your GameStop pre-order, whatever games you're giving away pre-order bonuses, and then go in the next day and fucking cancel all of your pre-orders.
The problem is most of the pre-order bonuses now are DLC.
Yeah, right. Going back to
getting physical, like, thing. Like one of my absolute favorites was a GameStop thing. I actually had to argue with them about getting it. I pre-ordered the TNA Impact game, and the pre-order bonus was a DVD with a bunch of TNA matches on it. Yeah. And I was just like, this would be pretty cool, you know?
Yeah.
And those fuckers were like, there's no pre-order bonus for this game. I'm like, really? Because my thing here, because I printed out my little receipt and stuff like that, and it mentions the pre-order bonus. I'm like, right there. What does that say?
Cough up the DVD.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it came. Most of the times, and when I said I hate dealing with people that I buy games from, it's stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because 9 times out of 10, I've had to argue about getting my pre-order bonus.
Yeah.
At least from GameStop. When I dealt with Game Crazy, they were just like, "Oh, you bought this? Well, we got leftovers of the pre-order bonus, so here's a bunch of..."
They'll go the other way, like, "Oh, random person off the street, here you are."
Yeah. I mean, what is it? I bought a Steelbook Halo 2 because I was like, it was cheaper than the actual edition, and I was like, all right.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, well, let me go and get that Steelbook. And they're like, since you got the Steelbook, here's the pre-order bonus. And you know what? We got a bunch of these Halo 2 release pins, which was actually like the pre-order at Game Crazy ones. Yep. And they're like, here, we'll just throw those in the bag too.
So awesome.
So I had like 12 of these fucking pins just lying around.
I remember so how many like midnight launches have you guys gone to?
I've only done one. And it was a console.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And it was the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
And I said never the fuck again.
Yeah. Some dankness right there.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even buying the console. I went with somebody who was. The place they were going to, it was a Kmart and they didn't do pre-orders. And they basically said the day of, they're like, we have 7 Xbox 360, the standard. We have 5 of the next tier. And this is before they came out with the Elite. So you just had the starter, and then you had the standard with the 20 gig hard drive on it. Yep. And they had 5 of those, and he goes, I'm getting one of those fucking consoles. So we camped out in front of that Kmart for something like 8 hours.
Oh, jeez.
And he ended up getting the standard without the hard drive, and he was so fucking pissed. Yeah, dude. I'm like, dude, you got a fucking console though.
Yeah, you got the thing, but then I remember that first thing of the hard drives. They were priced like a ridiculous amount.
Yeah, they were outrageously priced until they went with the slim models.
Yes, yeah. And I remember, like, if your hard drive, like, there was a little button that would like unhook it from the top.
Yeah. Like slide out.
And it would like slide. But if that button for whatever reason broke, your hard drive just kind of like bloop, like you just put it on there like a hat, like it couldn't move, and it couldn't move. Like, oh,
you had to wedge it in.
Yeah. My friend used electrical tape, and he like had to like tape it so it looked like this really, really bad like jerry rigged like. It's so goofy.
One thing with the Xbox 360 launch, though, was they gave you a free faceplate because those were going to be a big thing on the Xbox 360.
Those are some other things, dude. Some of those faceplates, like the Viva Pinata one, it's like, yeah, whatever. But there was a faceplate that you got from going to the press briefing at that E3.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, that thing's like $700. Yeah. You find one of those, like it's a gold mine, and you're like, oh, the faceplate? Like, come on. I understand it for like you guys remember the Game Boy Micro, the little tiny that Game Boy Advance. Those had faceplates, and those are all very valuable because they didn't make very many of them. But these faceplates for the 360, they made 1 billion of them. They made so many of them.
They made a ton of them, but they didn't make too many different varieties of them. That's the biggest thing. They only released, I think, like something like 13 different faceplates. That includes that exclusive one for the E3 briefing. But I mean, even then, I mean, you're just like, you had a choice between, I think, a wood grain, a Viva Pinata. I mean, those are the two I remember.
They have a Gears one, which was like black with the red Gears logo. I think they had one for, did they have one for Sneak King? That Burger King game?
Burger King game.
I don't think so.
Oh, Sneak.
Actually, I'm pulling up in a complete list. There's a 24 Jack Bauer, a 24 karat gold looking one. There was one for 28 days. There was one for 300. There was Gray Team, which is a 343 studio. There's a autographed version of that. 360 Junkies. Actually, I think a lot of these are like aftermarket ones, though. This complete list, because it's just like, there's over 1,000 of them. Like, bullshit, there is.
Yeah, yes, like Jimbo's Wonder Emporium made one.
And I'm looking at some of these, and it's like, there's a Clockwork Orange and an A-Team one. I'm like, there wasn't those.
That is not true. Yeah, it's like PSP movies. You remember that shit? Yeah. Right. All those UMD movies, because you need your copy of Steam Boy for the UMD.
The Fifth Element. You need PSP.
Be sure to get these 3 episodes of Ghost in the Shell on your PSP.
Ninja Scroll.
Ninja Scroll, dude! I had a fucking box set of Ninja Scroll, but it was Suncoast Video. They were trying to give that shit away. Dude, Suncoast, man. They were trying to give that shit away. They're like, please, it's all of Ninja Scroll in this tin, and it's $4. I was like, what a great deal. That's a whole complete show for $4. I saw 3 episodes of that show, and I was like, this is fucking trash.
Oh man.
I mean, Suncoast is another place that the kids can't appreciate.
Man. Nope. Sam Goody. Nope.
Yep. Well,
I have to get all my man videos.
FYE.
I was gonna say Sam Goody became FYE. And I mean, there's still some FYE locations, but most of them have kind of dried up. So that's kind of interesting. Tower Records.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So here's the thing. A lot of people talk shit on places like GameStop and Best Buy. And they'll be like, you know what? I'm spoiled by Steam sales, and Best Buy and GameStop charge way too much money for a brand new game. And it's like, well, you've never been to a Suncoast. You've never been to an FYE, because the new releases for like games, or let's say records. Okay, so I remember I wanted to buy, I think it was the Korn album After Issues, whichever one came after Issues. And I was like, oh, the new Korn album, and this is a band I grew up with. Let me go see. FYE for a fucking CD. Now keep in mind, MSRP for CDs, back when CDs were the thing, was anywhere from $14 to $16.99-ish, right? That's about right.
Depending on region. I mean, up in the Northeast, it was between 15 and 20.
Yeah, so right around there. FYE.
Yeah, it was around there.
$36.99.
Was it a double disc?
No. Oh no.
That.
Those were $42.99. Like, the markup, the margins were nuts. Like, posters, $22.99. For those $6 posters you buy at Walmart, $22.99. And I was like, this, I even back in the day, I was like, what, 14? I was like, fuck this trash.
Those giant panel pages.
Oh, yeah.
The only time I legitimately bought from FYE was when it was either in their clearance section, because their clearance section usually had some pretty decent prices.
Yeah, if they really had to get rid of stuff, it was pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
Pennies on the dollar.
Suncoast was the same way. I think I picked up Ichi the Killer for like $3.
See, I will say that's where Suncoast like hit it out of the park. And Suncoast was the only place that you could actually, if you were in a mall, you could go and they had import movies to buy on the shelf. That's where I got Versus.
Yep.
That's where I got, oh shit. That might be the first place I ever bought Old Boy.
I know that's the place I bought Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance.
So any of the Tartan Asia Extreme, like the Tartan Asia Extreme label, they had all of them. There was one called H that I got that was kind of like a weird detective Silence of the Lambs movie.
Visitor Q was another one.
Visitor, that's a fucking crazy movie. That should be our next watch list. No, it should watch Visitor Q.
Now, if we do that, then the one after that has to be Audition.
Yeah.
I dig it. Paper bag the same way again.
My wife is still very upset at me for making her watch Audition. Her exact quote after we got done watching that movie is she turned to me and verbatim she said, "I thought you loved me." That was her exact. And I was like, that's a pretty perfect response.
That is
actually
terrific.
But dude, Suncoast was the real deal. They also had wrestling videos.
Yes,
it did.
That's where I got my Mick Foley greatest hits. The one where it's funny if you watch it now because he's telling these stories to two people, and at the time I didn't know who the two people were. But if you look at it now, it's Matt and Jeff Hardy. Yeah, and this is
pre.
Yeah, pretty much. This was a pre-Terry Invitational ladder match, Hardy Boys. So it's right whenever they had Gangrel. They were just starting to become New Brood, but it was right before that ladder match happened. So they weren't really big deals then. But it's just Mick Foley talking about stuff, and they're like, so do you remember that Hell in a Cell? And he was like, no, I don't remember any of it. Like, but let's watch it anyway. Like that was a really good set. But yeah, they had that. They had import wrestling stuff. That's where I got the IWA King of the Deathmatch stuff with Terry Funk versus Mick Foley.
I know I used to get some FMW stuff there.
Yeah. And that stuff was like $20 ish, but
Yeah.
I mean, for an import DVD of
Yeah.
like, not a bad deal. Like, even back then, not a bad
I mean,
deal.
try to buy an import DVD now and not spend like
yeah.
$30-$40. My ex got me a import copy of Johnny Mnemonic.
Wow.
The reason why is because it has the theatrical cut, which everybody in the US who's watched the movie has seen, but then it also has the Japanese cut, which has a lot more Takeshi Kitano, and the movie actually makes fucking sense.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, and it ran her before shipping like $80. Because it was one of those, it had to be imported. I mean, you had to deal with the import fees from Japan to, it was bad. But I mean, it's great fucking film. I'm thankful to have it.
That's where I got like Zatoichi. They had and they were also the only retailer, Suncoast, for a while that had the Criterion Collection on disc. Like, they had lock on Criterion Collection. But once again, you were spending $50 for a DVD because it's the Criterion Collection, so they put this tax on it. I was like, Jesus, man.
Unless you knew people.
Yeah, unless you got that guy making dank floppy disks down in the basement.
No, because I hung out at the mall all the time, I kind of just started knowing people. One of the guys worked at Suncoast, and I'm just like, I'm really looking at that Criterion Fear and Loathing, but $54.99 is a bit much for it. And he goes, well, I mean, it only costs us like $20. Yeah. He goes, with my discount, it'll be this. So just give me the money and I'll buy it for you. And I'm like, all right. Deal. And it ended up being like a $30 thing, but it was a Criterion Collection and so on and so forth. Now you can get Criterion Collection shipped for like $20.
Yeah, and you get not complete Criterion Collections, but like, I think they have segments. Like, here's Criterion Collection from 1912 until 1940. And it's like, buy those. And then 1955 through 1970. And you're like, okay, buy those. And even those are like $60 and you get 10 films. So
the only thing is, like, some of those Criterion Collection films got vaulted, though. So, I mean, like, it's good luck finding some of them.
That's true.
I know I signed up with Hulu initially because of they had to deal with the Criterion Collection. I'm not sure if they still do, but
maybe, or it may have moved over to like Crackle or some weird.
It might have
one-off thing.
I know I was super excited because they had all the old Zatoichi films, and I spent like a week just binge watching each one. I'm like, oh, these are so good.
Yeah, these movies are perfect. And like another company that's finally like taken it down a notch is HBO. So I'm a huge fan of a lot of HBO shows. Like The Wire, I still think is one of the best television shows ever made. But like, I'm a huge 6 Feet Under fan. I love 6 Feet Under. What a great show. It's really fucked up, but it's awesome, and I highly recommend it for everybody.
First season, $40 on DVD.
So that's way better than it used to be, because each season of an HBO show used to be like $89.99. And it was like the locked price of HBO stuff, like, oh, prime time entertainment. Yeah. And you're like, whatever. But now.
I mean, the prices came down when Blu-ray became a thing.
Yes.
Like the DVD prices went from $89.99 down to about like $59.99.
Yeah. Now it's better because, I mean, like another one was Oz. If you tried to find a box set of Oz, holy shit, that stuff was expensive. But now you go to freaking Walmart. Oz seasons are $9.99. Like, you can get all of Oz for $60. Are you kidding me? Like, that's crazy.
And it was a great show.
Yeah,
it really was.
And like Deadwood.
Deadwood.
They have some good shit, man. Like HBO back in the day.
Yeah,
Mwah.
I mean people talk like, oh, The Sopranos and all the other stuff, but I mean, give me Deadwood, give me 6 Feet Under, give me Carnival. Carnival was another really good one.
It was, and I have a soft spot for Carnival because I really like the writing in it. I was like, the writing was fantastic. Really cool. It was Ronald D. Moore, who then went to go do Battlestar Galactica. So I was like, yeah, man, 6 degrees of separation.
Nice.
Best show in the world. But yeah, like, it's funny how that all kind of works together. But yeah, basically this is another one of our episodes where like kids these days don't know how good they have it. you know. But yeah, I was just really interested on your guys' take on that physical versus digital thing, because I think, you know, internet's becoming more abundant. Storage space is definitely becoming more abundant. Like you can get, we had to buy an external hard drive for my wife's laptop. She had to get a Windows update, and the computer didn't have enough space. Like it's one of those, it's not a Chromebook, but it's like one step above a Chromebook. So where it doesn't have Google OS, but it has like actual Windows 10. However, it only has a 30 gig hard drive. The Windows
and the install's like 35 gigs or some shit.
The Windows 10 installed is 20 gigs.
Right.
It needed 18 gigs to download. So it couldn't. It was like, we need to update. And then you click update and it's like, we can't update. And you're like, okay.
Nice.
So for $10, we got a 250 gig external hard drive. $10.
Shit.
What? Like, are you crazy? Like that's, I can't fathom that. A 250 gig hard drive in my mind, and this shows where my mind like stopped progressing, I guess. It's like, you tell me 250 gig hard drive and I'm like, oh, that's a good solid $89.99. Like that's where my price meter is on memory and like storage and shit.
Yeah.
And people are like, it's like $10. I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? Like, and then I look it up and I was like, what? How is this so cheap?
That's just like USB drives.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah, USB drives go up to 512 gigs now, and you're like, what the fuck?
How many thousands of dollars is that? Because I remember a 1 gig was like $40.
$50. But now you're looking at like 128 gig thumb drive is $79.99. And you're like, man, that's because I'm kind of tempted to like upgrade the PC and stuff, but I want to wait another 5 years. Because if I wait another 5 years, I'm going to have a 5 petabyte hard drive with like 8 graphics cards and like all this shit for like $550. So like, all right, it'll run every game from the past 80 years in perfect 416K high fidelity. And like, you know, it'll be, $500. Yeah, sure. Why not?
It's,
oh my God.
I mean, when you talk about drive space, when I got my Xbox One, I ran to the space. The problem with it only had a 500 gig hard drive, and I needed an external. And I found a great deal, and I still think it was a great deal. A 5 terabyte external.
Yeah.
$60.
Whoa. Yeah.
And that is what I run all my games on in my
amazing.
Xbox One. And those games aren't small. I mean, you're looking. There's
60,
there's some
70
of them.
gigs.
What is it? I think the largest install I have right now is either Halo Master Chief Collection or Quantum Break. Quantum Break was like almost 200 gigs.
Good Lord.
But that's because of all the full motion video episode things and such.
That's kind of what Final Fantasy 15 is like 110 gigs or something.
Jesus.
Something outrageous. But yeah, perfect example is like I logged into my Google Drive earlier today. You now have 15 gigs of space on a free Google Drive. I swear to God, go look it up right now. 15 gigs. I was like, you know what shit I could put up there for 15 gigs? I'll do a backup of Baldur's Gate 2 that I can download whatever I want. And it's right there on this digital fucking drive for free forever. Hooray. Like 15 gigs for a free tier. I remember when they were stingy enough to not even give you 1 gig. They were like, I don't know. What for a free? You're not paying us any money. How are we going to give you a gig of space? But then it's like 15 gigs free off the top, and they're like, if you want, we can make it bigger. Bigger? Yeah. Like, what the fuck am I going to put up here? That's.
I mean, I'm looking at OneDrive because I used to use that a lot because I had a Windows phone, and I have 15 gigs. Gives you 15 gigs, which is great. But then on top of that, it's like, learn how to get an extra terabyte of space and Office. And I'm like, what?
It's like $5 a month. I guarantee you it's something like $5 a month.
It's $100 for the year.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so yeah. About 7.
Oh, no. My mistake. My mistake. It's to just get 50 gigs of monthly storage on your OneDrive is $2 a month.
$2.
Fuck.
$7 a month gives you 1 terabyte and Office 365 personal, and $9.99 a month gives you the 5 terabytes and Office 365 home.
For $11 a month, you become mayor. They just like, here you are, sir. You have a city.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
I mean, it's like, what would you do with this is the old man philosophy. What would you do with 5 terabytes of space?
5 terabytes? Who the fuck needs 5 terabytes? Like, I upload my fucking videos onto YouTube. I do the podcast on my Amazon. What do I need 5 terabytes for? My desktop, my gaming rig, this whole thing, this production is running on a 2 terabyte hard drive. But you're giving me 5 terabytes for essentially $100 a year? Dude, that is broken. I used to think they were full of shit when they were like, yo, the whole Library of Congress can fit on a drive the size of your fingernail. And I was like, that's bullshit. That's an old wives' tale. No, now it's probably true.
Not anymore.
I mean, it's...
I mean, if I
infinity copies of it on your thumb drive.
If I look at the video versions of the podcasts I record, every episode totals out to 59.5 gigs. And that is 32 episodes or 31 episodes of Gimmick Bag and 11 episodes of Pod Errors.
That's full video,
That's
high
full video.
def archives.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I don't want
gigs.
Yeah.
Congrats, sir. Guess what? You need to do that 1,000 times?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Something like that, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, if I look at just audio, it's on the 2 shows, it's 5.92 gigs. Gigs. And you're just like, what?
Oh.
How is this a thing?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of world do we live in? Like,
it actually doesn't make sense. It's like, we always joke at work, tech support and all that shit. Like, what is the cloud? Where is all this stuff? What's the cloud? That's the number one call we get from like faculty or staff or whatever. If they want to know just about computer shit, they call me and like, can you explain what Dropbox is? And I was like, yeah, sure. But then now I'm getting to the point to where I'm like, I don't know where this stuff goes. I mean, I think YouTube said something about like per hour they go through a zettabyte of data.
yeah.
Or something like per hour. And I was like, oh, a zettabyte, what is that? And zettabyte is like 1 million petabytes, which is like 500 billion gigabytes, or it's some ridiculous amount. And I was like, okay, my mind actually can't comprehend what you're telling me right now. Like, the number is so astronomically big. And they're like, oh, we do that every hour. How has it not exploded? Like, whatever server you got, how is it not on fire all of the time? Like, how are you not just in there with a fire extinguisher? Like, oh God, help us! Like, what world are we in?
I'm looking this up, and maybe exabyte. That sounds about right to me. And it's like, oh, what's a gigabyte to that? And I'm looking at it, and it's like 1E plus 9. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
They can't write the number because it's too big, so they have to like equation it. Like, oh, just carry the diameter of the, and you're like, oh, like, this is so big. So much.
Yeah, and it's 1,000, like 1 exabyte is 1,000 petabytes. And it's like, what? How does that, what world do we live in?
Yeah. It genuinely doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. And see, here we are talking about, I wonder what's going to happen if they can't store all of our video games anymore. And it's like, bro, on one of fucking those servers, you can store every video game ever made, including the video games that haven't been made for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
On one of those drives. One. Yeah. But see, thank God for Xbox, because They're the ones putting in the work for backwards compatibility. They're the ones.
Fuck yes.
Like I'm about to go buy SSX3 again because that's one of my favorite games of all time, and like I need that game in true high def, like beautifully running whenever I want it. I need that game. So there's that. There's Ninja Gaiden Black. I was looking through it last night for like an hour. I was like, yeah, I could buy that. I could buy that too. Like I was going. It was like a menu. I was like, that sounds delicious. Yes, I'll take one of those.
Well, one of the things I will say when you mentioned Ninja Gaiden Black, that's part of the Game Pass as well.
That's the other thing. $10 a month. All right, what does this $10 a month give me? Do you see a game you like? Yes. You just have it. What do you mean you just have it? Oh, it's yours. Do whatever you want with it. Just download it, delete it, download it again.
An even crazier deal, and it's not as, I don't want to say it's as good as Game Pass, is EA Access.
That I was looking at that, and the reason why I'm this close to buying an old Madden game. I don't even care which one, because it's like I haven't played Madden since 2002. Mm-hmm. So any of the most recent Madden games are going to blow my mind. I'm going to be like, wow, look at these amazing technologies. And like, I'm going to be like, who are the players? I don't even know these people. Yeah. And then it'll be the football game I buy for the next decade. I could go get Madden 2018, like the most recent one, is at the $5 shop. I go to the Five Below, and they have Madden 18 on the wall, factory sealed for $5. I'm like, Madden used to cost a fucking lot of money.
And I mean, you mentioned Madden 18. That's also on EA Access, and it's like, it's what, I think it's $5 a month or $30 for a year. And you're like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Not only does that give you the vaulted games, which include things like the Mass Effect trilogy and Dragon Age Origins and a bunch of the Battlefields, and I think there's a Medal of Honor in there somewhere. I guess.
Oh yeah, like Mirror's Edge. Yeah.
It's got Mirror's Edge and all this other stuff. I mean, you also get 10% off all your digital EA purchases through the Xbox shop, which is pretty nice, especially when you're dealing with DLC.
Oh, yeah. Right. Well,
sure. But I mean, just looking at it, I was like Dragon Age 2 just went backwards compatible, which I'm excited about. That and Saints Row 2, I was just like, oh, fuck yes. Now I'm just waiting on Dragon Age 2 to hit EA Access, so I don't need to put my fucking disc in every time I want to play.
There you go.
But it's like $30 for the year, and you're like, are you fucking kidding me? That's
amazing. If you're a fan of EA at all, that's... I
mean, even if you're not, like, and you just like...
right, yeah,
even if you're not, and you're like, well, I like the BioWare stuff. Mass Effect Andromeda is on that list. Like...
Shit.
That, I mean, that game still, you go to a store, you're going to pay $30 for.
Yeah.
And you'll play through what, once? Same price. You get a year worth of games through EA. They do also offer it on PC as Origin Access, and it actually has more games, but it doesn't have things like FIFA, NHL, or NHL. Right. So, I mean, it doesn't have the sports titles, but it's still a good fucking deal. I mean, $30.
That's where it's going, man. Like how Disney's making their version of Netflix.
Yep.
And that's where all the Marvel shit's going to be.
Pretty much.
Enjoy some of that Marvel stuff on Netflix while you can, because
that
is all going to that Disney network, whatever that's going to be called.
Yeah. And the movies too. So
yeah, all the movies and probably the shows too. I know they're Netflix originals now, but I bet they jump ship. Crazy. Like, money, little bits of money now get you so much more, even though money is arguably more worthless than it's ever been. Like, because, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, like, look at the housing market. Like, holy shit, what a clusterfuck. But then, yeah, for what, $20 a year, you get 5 terabytes of what? Like, all of it is just, it's upside down land.
Yeah. It's absolutely crazy. This world is absolutely crazy, and I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, I don't know what that. Like, we are able to do this and put it up on fucking all these places.
Yeah.
And then, like, I'm just trying to get it around my head that if I were to tell my 11-year-old self, like, you know those EGM magazines that you read all the time, Little Wes? And I'm like, yeah. Well, one day you're going to be just like that. You're going to be playing video games online. You're going to have a radio show where you talk about all this shit. People are going to listen and watch you. And I'm like, you're full of shit. Like, I would not have believed it whatsoever. You know, getting the dank floppy disks and stuff. Like, now everyone's able to do all of this. Like, if you have a creative bone in your body, there's a fucking way you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like, crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. I don't know. It once you get older, and a lot of the kids listen are like, oh, they're doing the old man thing again. But like, once you get older, you're really going to start realizing this, and it's going to become real. And you're going to look around, and you're going to be like, I don't know, who's this person on the radio? I don't know this song. Who are these artists? And then you watch like a music award show, and they're like, the album of the year goes to fucking I can't even name anyone. Like, I don't know them. I don't know them. I'm like,
and the Lifetime Achievement Award goes to somebody you listened to in high school.
Lifetime Achievement Award goes to Drake. And you're like, I thought Drake was still new. What the fuck? Like,
Drake? Who's this Drake kid? You talking about the kid from Degrassi?
Yeah, the guy that got in a wheelchair after that shooting episode. My favorite Drake thing, by the way, I'm going to just sidetrack, is whenever Drake, confronted Eminem about doing a freestyle battle. Like, he was like, oh, I could out freestyle Eminem. And then somebody replied to him and was like, Eminem's going to put you in your fucking Degrassi wheelchair. Like, that's where you're going to end up if you try to go one-on-one with Eminem in a freestyle rapping contest. By the way, sir. He's going to put you back there. So, spoilers for Degrassi, I guess. Like,
I mean, the show's only like 30 years old.
Yeah, Degrassi only aired in 1981. So that's fine.
And I only just aged myself.
Yeah, no shit. It's like, by the way, Zac Efron was in fucking High School Musical. Let's just talk about that one. Zac Efron's 77 years old now. And he's like, oh. Yeah,
I mean, just looking at some of the stuff, like, and I've had this conversation privately with people. You look at stuff you listen to or were into when you were in high school, and now do the math on that. And you're like, oh yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
yeah.
You're like, oh, Air Force Ones by Nelly, and that's. It's like, oh, that's great. Fucking 15-year-old song.
Yeah,
15 years old.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, it blows my mind with all the kids with their 90s nostalgia.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what year were you born? Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Enjoy your juice box. I'll actually kind of live this nostalgia for you because I lived through it.
I will tell you that there are actual college students, because that's part of my deal for work, is I onboard like new incoming college freshmen and shit. They have birthdays. From 2004. They were born in 2004. You know, it's like, motherfucker, I graduated high school in 2004.
Yeah,
Not only do I know 2004, like, that felt like it was about 6 weeks ago. Like, it's, you know.
I mean, there's little things that remind you of like how long it's been. Like getting an invitation to a high school reunion and then saying, well, it's a 15-year reunion. You're like, what? It's been 15 years. I didn't go to the 10. No, we want you to be at the 15. Nope.
Facebook is just fine to see how you fuckers are doing.
It's fucking scary though.
Yeah, that's the thing is like if I went to one of those, it'd be nothing but like Minions memes in real life. Because that's all it is on Facebook is like relatives and like, have you seen this cheeseburger cat? And I'm like, oh Jesus Christ! Like. Everyone's so old and they're referencing shit that I knew about when it was popular.
Yeah.
Like, all our base belong to us. Like, kids don't understand salad fingers. They don't fucking get, what is it called? History of the world? Or whatever with like, where he's like, okay. With the rockets and shit. Oh my god, I need to remember that.
Fire the missiles!
Yes, the missiles!
But I'm not tired.
Yes. So there's that. There's fucking salad fingers. There's strong bad.
Oh yeah.
Then there's stuff like Maddox. I remember like Maddox stuff where he would grade children's drawings. And like, here's a child's drawing. Is this supposed to be a fire truck? You fucking suck. F. And like, he just signs it with a big F. It's like, this is from like late 90s. Like Attitude Era Wrestling era internet.
Yeah.
You know, like Nickelodeon chat rooms and Habbo Hotel.
Neopets, which is still a thing.
Somehow.
Yahoo,
God bless.
Yahoo Asian American chat room number 1.
You had to get in the closer to the number 1 rooms were the best because that's where everyone was hanging out. Because then the overflow rooms, you didn't want to be in like chat room number 7 because then it's just you and 3 other people and they're like, hey, you wanna come to this website and see pictures of me? And you're like, not really, sir.
Yeah, back in the days where you pop in a room and say hi, and then instantly you would have 12 people post ASL. Right?
Yeah, ASL. Hey, are you a girl? But then you knew it would be the cool kids club because if you were like a regular and there was only one other regular there for the time, it was like if you saw someone at a frat house party and you like see them across the room and you do that like nod like, yeah, what's up, man? Yeah, good to see you again. Like you have this whole you're like, yep. Seems we're still here, okay. And then yeah, I guess that's a good segue to say by this time next week there's going to be a new comedyhobo.com. So join the web ring and sign the guest book when that goes up. I'm gonna have one of those little counters, the page counters. I'll have a MIDI file of a Dragon Ball Z song, or no, it'll be like a Breaking Benjamin song. It would play like some awesome Aerosmith song.
Make it look like an Angel Fire page.
Dude, and it has the text that's actually on fire, and it's the animated GIF of it. But then it has the white artifacts around it.
In some sections, you have to have like the fighting game character doing their special move repeatedly
across it. Holy shit! Yeah. And it didn't it's in a table. So like the table like header, and then you have that picture that's going around, and then you have like my favorite movies, and then like my favorite songs.
Just grab those gifs from like Fighters Generation webpage.
That's right, and it's the weird smiley face that would do the thumbs up. That had big old eyes. He's like, Meh.
Throw a gif of Bonzi Buddy on there too.
Oh shit!
Why not?
Clippy comes out. Hi.
Have a hidden like clickable thing, and then it shows you a car like driving towards a road, and then all of a sudden you hear that wah, like that loud scream thing that people fucking did back in the day.
Oh my god! And have the mouse cursor have like snowflakes trailing behind it.
If you can, pass his base.
Oh yeah! Oh, so good.
You got to look real close.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god.
Somebody's gonna punch their monitor. That's just gonna happen.
Like fist goes straight through it. Oh my god.
I think it's 30. Yeah.
Dude, the internet has grown so much, but it's changed entirely, but it's still exactly the same in those ways. But oh man.
I mean, some things have gone by the wayside because who uses AOL chat rooms anymore? But right. We've all upgraded to Discord.
That's right. Yeah, get on the Discord, everyone. Get on your Ventrilo server.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But I think that's gonna do it for episode number 56, the Blast to the Past episode of Brother.
We went back in time.
That's right, back in time, and as much as it changes, it stays the same. Everyone go buy some physical games, man. Just go do that shit. Be an archivist. Have it as part of your library. Mm-hmm. But I'm Wes Gardner. And for Mr. Toddy VF and Mr. Marco Flores, we bid you all a very fine adieu. And we will see you guys next week here on a new edition of Brother Around. Peace!